For all things Halloween, this is Hauntformer, and 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 today, everyone, I am back with a brand new movie R.I.P. review. And in today's review, we're going to talk about the newly released film Happy Death Day, which is a horror comedy about this girl who's kind of snotty and who keeps reliving the same day that's her birthday and also her death day, which means she is killed by a mysterious murderer. She has to uncover who this person is and why they are killing her to stop her time loop. This movie is sort of a mix between Groundhog Day and Scream, in the fact that the day keeps relooping and she has to become a better person, and also she has to uncover a mystery with a masked serial killer on the loose after her. This movie, I think, is more aimed towards younger audiences. If you're one of my younger viewers, maybe in the age range of, I don't know, like preteen to like 15, maybe like 12 to 15, this movie would be pretty good for you. There's not much gore in this movie at all. Every time she's like either stabbed or like attacked, it just resets the loop so she wakes back up again. There's not too much profanity, I don't think, in this movie, and the adult scenes are kept rather minimal. So this is a good PG-13 movie. I felt like they could have done it better. I really like the premise and the setup for this movie, but the execution could have been better. The acting was pretty well, and the cinematography was good, but I felt the scary situations weren't very scary. It was much more of a humorous movie, which I am a fan of horror comedies a lot, but I felt like it was more of just a comedy than actually something super scary. The mystery was sort of there. There were a few twists, but I felt it could have been executed a little better. When you figure out who actually was the murderer the whole time, a few things don't really make sense in the movie. Maybe that lead up to that, but more so, I felt like the motive was a little weak. Not to say that any motive for murder is a good reason, but at least in movies like Scream, you really felt the passion for the killer and why they did such a horrible thing, but in this movie, I couldn't really see it. And I also wish, speaking of the killer, that we saw more of the masked murderer in this movie. I felt like it would have been a little bit creepier and more suspenseful. There was also a good lead-up in the middle of the movie where she's going to write down a suspect list and maybe figure out who's doing it. I thought that was a cool setup, and then they just did a cheesy montage and had some, like, pop music over it. I felt like they rushed it, and they didn't really take the scary scenes or scenes that could have gone somewhere interesting, and they didn't really go anywhere with it, so it was kind of upsetting to see that. I think the premise is a good idea, but in execution, I thought they could have done a better job at making it more paced to fit kind of a scarier, even though it's PG-13, maybe a scarier, more suspenseful plot. I also felt like when she was trying to do good for other people, since it kept getting reset, I don't even remember what timeline it was that she ended up with to show her actions and the repercussions of those. Unlike in Groundhog Day, where we knew towards the end that he was trying to do good and be a better person. I'm not exactly sure where this movie was taking it. Overall, I can say that Happy Death Day is a good movie if you want to see kind of a PG-13, not super scary movie for Halloween. It's not my favorite horror movie that has come out this year, but it is definitely one that is interesting and will keep you engaged throughout the entire thing. Overall, I'm going to give Happy Death Day a 2.5 out of 5 skulls. Now, let's get into the spoiler talk. So the spoiler talk is relatively short. The whole plot twist was that the serial killer that she suspects is actually murdering her was framed by her roommate, who actually was trying to poison her the entire time with a cupcake that she made. I thought that was an interesting twist, but as I mentioned before, I felt her motive was a little weak. She just said she didn't really like her, and she was upset that she was with the same boy that she had been with. I don't know, it didn't seem like she was really passionate about what she was doing to commit something like this. Plus, she seemed like a normal nurse, so it was kind of, I don't know, it kind of was unnecessary. I wish there would have been maybe a better plot twist or turn in it, but as standing, it was an okay plot twist that they tried to pull off with this one. Again, it's PG-13, so they were trying to keep it relatively easy to follow and everything, which I thought was very well done. Thank you all so much for watching this R.I.P. review. Make sure to check out Happy Death Day in theaters now. And remember, as always, for all things Halloween, this is Hauntformer. And remember, as always, for all things Halloween, this is Hauntformer. And remember, as always, for all things Halloween, this is Hauntformer.